If we're going to help mothers breastfeed optimally, then I believe that we need to have evidence-based public health policy. We're now beginning to understand just how important early nutrition is for long-term health and development. We've been doing research for many years, over 3 decades, showing that the way that babies are fed in the early weeks or months of life can set them up, program them for their future outcome, for instance, in terms of risk of cardiovascular disease, brain development, and so forth. Now, there's a large amount of published information showing that breastfed babies have got reduced risk of heart disease and obesity in later life. This has now become a major plank for breastfeeding promotion. We've done the first experimental studies in humans to show that that's the case. But interestingly, we're beginning to have insight into why that's true. We know now from studies in numerous animals and now in humans that fast early growth is at a long-term health cost. And we believe that the reason why breastfed infants are advantaged is that they grow more slowly than formula-fed babies in those critical early weeks. So this has an important public health impact. Firstly, of course, we now know that breastfeeding is important for long-term reduction in the risk of cardiovascular disease and obesity. But coming back to the Philips survey, which identified that many mothers actually give up breastfeeding because they perceive that they don't have enough milk, they perceive that their babies perhaps are not growing fast enough, we can now reassure those mothers that providing that there's no underlying clinical problem, actually slow growth is very good for long-term health and will reduce the risk of obesity in later life. And so that is going to be an important educational plank for us. Important not just for mothers to receive that directly, but important for the medical profession to understand so that they can assist mothers and perhaps help increase the duration of breastfeeding. Well, for many years, we have regarded breastfeeding, based on our own and other published data, not just as a method of feeding babies, but as a public health intervention important in the primary prevention of disease. It's been known for a long time that breastfeeding has health advantages in the short term, for instance, the reduction in the risk of infection. But we're now beginning to understand, as we explore the long-term impact of early nutrition, that breastfeeding can be used as a public health intervention for the primary prevention of such things as cardiovascular disease risk and obesity in later life. So we should be looking now at breastfeeding in an entirely different way to the way that it was viewed perhaps 30 or 40 years ago.